Hi guys and girls, Rose Burnett here, and today we're talking about how to discover your life path, life purpose. And I polled the question through the community channel, and this came out higher in terms of how to attract abundance into your life. So we'll do that one as well later on. But today's session is all about discovering your life purpose, anything holding you back. You're feeling stuck, how to become unstuck. Now, I will be in the live chat, so this is obviously pre-recorded, but I'll be in the live chat with you. So reach out to me, say hi, tell me which country you're from, and we'll kick the ball off rolling. Ask any questions as we go through. I'll be in there answering, yeah? Don't be shy. And if there's anything you want more clarity on, if I can't answer it right now, I'll get back to you, yeah? But ideally, we're going to go over a whole lot of stuff. So, and I guess, in terms of an introduction, if you don't know, not only do I've got my YouTube channel, which is quite popular in terms of the tarot readings and oracle that I do, tapped into spirituality and divinity, but I'm also a certified transformational coach, have been since 2012, but have been doing personal development probably for the last 20 or 30 years, about 30 years, yeah, been on that path. I've run many of my own businesses, so I can share with you. I've had run restaurants, Mexican restaurants, have had my own giftware businesses, all the ones I've started myself. I had my own giftware businesses selling hand-painted giftware into a lot of the gift shops where I live in WA. And that was one of my first baby businesses, yeah. I also did gift baskets for the building industry, they gave them to people when they built a new home as a welcoming gift. And often when we start something small, it leads to bigger and bigger steps as we get more experience in business, yeah. I've also had a lot of online businesses. So from that, I created a global jewelry business in terms of importing and exporting jewelry and bead supply products when the beading craze was on. And I've also had e-learning businesses online, e-commerce, retail in terms of fashion. Obviously did quite a lot around. I've had marketing businesses in terms of SEO, website marketing, web development, helping clients learn how to, particularly small businesses, how to market their own businesses online. Done a lot of workshops and coaching in that area. As well as, I've done a lot around e-learning, program development, all that kind of stuff, as well as worked in corporate businesses in terms of project management, change management, training and development. So lots and lots of different experience to bring to you. And I guess obviously at the moment doing something that I'm very passionate about. And I think in terms of life path, life purpose, we'll get to it, but don't ever think that it can only just be one thing, yeah? But we'll get to that. So I guess I kind of bring that wealth of experience with me to this chat and ideally help you on your path to finding your divinely guided life path, life purpose. So I do have some notes in front of me and I will refer to them because I'm notoriously bad at telling, not bad at telling stories, but I can often go off track telling a story, yeah? And there's lots of key information that I want to share with you and make sure that we cover it off. So the first thing that I wanted to tackle is, so what is life purpose? Often we can get confused about what it is or just generally feel confused. And so there's a few things that I want to shout out to you in terms of what is life purpose. And as I'm going through this, in the comments box below, or to the side, yeah, enter in there what life purpose means to you, yeah, as we go through this. And also let me know what you resonate with as well. So there's lots of things here. So purposeful living, living how you want to, literally, for me as an entrepreneur, one of the things that I worked in both corporate as well as entrepreneur, and many, many times jumped in and out of both. And I think for me, the thing that I find most satisfying about living my life how I want to is the freedom of it, the freedom to create, the freedom to live and work my day how I want to work it, yeah, in terms of how I manage my time, being the one that's in control of my time and what I want to do that lights me up joyfully, yeah. Being in flow is so important. When you're going against your flow because you hate what you're doing, or you don't like the people that you're working with, or it feels really hard and you're frustrated, or you're tired at a soul level, at a cellular level of what you're doing. You're not in flow. It's about your natural talents and abilities. What is it that's authentic within you that you know that is so easy for you to do, that makes you so joyful? Life purpose should ideally mean that you're loving life. Yeah. It brings you more joy. You're living in peace and harmony within yourself, so internal peace and harmony, also with others in your environment. That it gives you a sense of contribution. Often when we get to life path, life purpose, and we keep, for me, it's a learning journey, through the different decades. You'll often find that you'll change what you want to do, and that's totally natural. So don't ever think it needs to be one thing. But as you progress through life, you get a lot more experience and wisdom. Yeah, it's like climbing a ladder, a whole lot of steps you're going up. And as you do that, you get to a place where ideally your life path, life purpose is about contributing back to humanity on some level. It gives you a deep sense of accomplishment and contribution. It helps humanity in some way. It might help the environment. It might help nature. It might protect animals. It might help children and youth in some way. It might inspire, motivate, teach, or heal. Definitely creative, usually innovative. It can be a dream, a vision, a plan, actionable plan. It can just be a desire to do something more meaningful. Yeah. So how do we, often when this question comes up, how do we find our life path, life purpose? It usually stems from somewhere, right? There's usually something within us that goes, I'm not doing, or I'm not feeling like I'm doing what I want to do. Yeah, there's a discontent within, there's a desire to do something more meaningful. It can come from feeling stressed, that, there's a lot of pressure on you. Often we get a lot of financial pressure to do things that we have to do rather than be doing things that we want to do that make us more joyful, yeah, more in aligned with who we are naturally. It can be people in the work environment that just drive us crazy, yeah. It's one of the reasons I got out of corporate, because they used to drive me crazy. I'm somebody that's very peaceful and, most of the time. Sometimes get a bit fiery, but I'm a Piscean, right? We take a long time to simmer before we get fiery, yeah, and then watch out. But yeah, that's Pisceans all over. But yeah, people, for me, I've always had somebody that's, and you'll know within yourself, right? You might be somebody that always has this big vision and you can't understand. For me, I couldn't understand why everyone could not get on the same page and keep a big vision, yeah, and follow it instead of like fighting with each other and trying to climb all over the top of each other because they wanted to get up the corporate ladder a bit more. So it might be the people in your environment, your work environment, that are just driving you a little bit crazy and you're tired of it. It can be an internal shift that wants to happen within you, yeah, you just know that it does. So yeah, and often, it comes back to, you can get confused about your life path, life purpose. It's probably why you're watching this now, yeah, that bit of confusion. Or you might know what you want to do, but you're too afraid to go after it. You're holding yourself stuck. There's something holding you stuck. So we'll go right into that. And if you're somebody that knows what you want to do, pop it in the comments box, yeah. Yeah, and we'll get through, as we go through, I'm going to ask you some questions and love to hear your feedback. All right, so how do we get confused? There's some really core reasons for it, and it might be stuff that you're totally unaware of, right? So one of the deepest, at the deepest level, because I work a lot in terms of not only energy healing and transformational coaching and dealing with karmic trauma, yeah, stuff that's been imprinted on our soul light, and often a lot of the reasons we hold ourselves back is because from a young age, we're taught to be something other than we are, to fit in and to be accepted and to feel love. And it's imprinted on us. It's imprinted on us from family, usually caregivers. It can be siblings. It can be friends as you grow up. It can be peer pressure. It can be all sorts of things. It can be society. It can be the culture you're born into. Yeah, not accepted as part of your culture. You might have had a very strict culture. And often, we shove down who we are so we can survive childhood in the most protective, self-protective way for ourselves, yeah, just to get through it. And so what do we learn from that? Well, we learn to shove down our passions. We learn to shove down our desires, our ideas. People shut us down. We get criticised, judged, rejected, ridiculed. shamed, made to feel guilty for being who you are, because it doesn't fit in with somebody else's idea of who we should be. Not the point, is it? We're supposed to be who we are. Yeah. And some of the things that, that truly light us up can be seen and expressed to us, back to us, reflected back to us, that they're too frivolous or impractical to fit into this world, the model of what this world's supposed to be. And I guess I want you to ponder and think about, who are all those people that you admire in society that are doing amazing things, guaranteed that none of them are doing things that are conventional. Yeah, they're doing things that light them up joyfully, and we're just so admirable of them because they're doing these amazing things. That could be you. Could be you. Yeah. And it might be that you've got spiritual beliefs or divine gifts and talents that were in total contrast to your family of origin. And what do I mean by that? Well, I'm a great believer. Well, I've seen it actually. I know. I have an internal knowing, yeah, in terms of my own divinity, connection to spirituality. And I'll chat to you about your soul light as well as your inner child and things like that. But with energy healing, in terms of my own spiritual awakening and doing the work that I do, because it's mostly based in like Reiki energy healing. But it's just for me, it's just a medium in terms of energy healing overall and spirituality and connecting to the energy, universal life force energy that's out there surrounding all of us, protecting all of us. It's available for anyone to tap into, yeah. And why do I say this? Well, because a lot of us have imprinted or incarnated into this world. I'll say incarnated. Our soul lights can incarnate through many past lives, yeah. And with that, we bring many divine gifts and talents that are a natural state of who we are at a soul level, yeah. At an inner child level. Inner child is, it's the things that make us most joyful. It's our creativity. It can be all sorts of divine gifts and talents, yeah. It can be what brings us the most joy in life, happiness, yeah. It can get damaged, absolutely. Our soul light never changes. It wants to be as vibrant as it possibly can, as pure as it possibly can. It can get shoved down and hidden, and upon layer upon layer upon layer of emotional baggage from the past, karmic, but also this lifetime, because of the life experiences that you've gone through, yeah. But it's still there, it's still pure, wants to get out, yeah, wants to be real, wants to be authentic, wants to be you. So you can get born into this life, incarnated into this life with these amazing, beautiful divine gifts and talents that are not accepted within your own family of origin because they're so different to them, yeah. And there are the situations where they get shoved down. You learn to hide them. You learn to not accept them as part of yourself because they're unacceptable to others, yeah. In order to fit in, and that can be with friends, it can be with relations, it can be with partners, it can be with the wider community, it can be in the workplace. So we learn to push it down. We learn that that side of ourselves, we can feel shameful about it, we can feel guilty about it, we can fear it. Yeah, we learn all those things because it's been reflected back at us or told to us that it's not good enough, it's not accepted, yeah. Any of you resonating with this, let me know in the comments box, yeah, because I know for me, karmically, even witnessing it, like my dad had these amazing entrepreneurial talents, yeah, as a builder, and he had a couple of businesses. One went broke, and my mother never forgave him for that, yeah. And we literally, as children, witnessed this whole criticism going on, and every time he wanted to do something after that was entrepreneurial, he got totally shut down. So we learned that it was never okay to be entrepreneurial. I think as children we got a lot of criticism and we didn't get the right level of love, right? So we never got a consistent caregiving. There's 4 siblings, we all ended up kind of the same way. It affected us all differently, but in terms of self-worth, self-love, accepting the parts of ourselves that were quite different, our natural talents and abilities, we were taught to fit in, yeah. But we also had the freedom to be independent. So I think later on, as it's always part of you wants to escape that, yeah. But it can make you quite not so much fearful, but there's always that doubt in the back of your mind, are you doing the right thing? Because you've grown up with this cultural thing within the family that it's not accepted to do something that's out of the norm, that's not secure, yeah. So that's what I grew up with, my siblings grew up with. But most interestingly enough, quite a few of us are entrepreneurs, yeah. But that's, I think half of us are entrepreneurs. So overarchingly, right, there can be this disallowance of your natural self and your natural authentic self, and that can be societal pressures as well. Mostly it's culture, family. It can be in your most intimate relationships with your partner if they've got certain values that are different to yours. Yeah, you can get it, and that's one of the hardest, is not to be supported by your partner with your goals and dreams. Yeah, the other part of it that often comes up is whether or not you can make a financial living out of it, and you can often get ridiculed by that and for that, yeah. And that requires a lot of faith and trust in yourself. But we'll go right through that about how to monetize your passions. Yeah. And I don't know about you, but I know even when you have that pivotal point, which I think even as a like late teens, when you're deciding what you want to study, like at university or college or whatever, and there's that massive pressure, not only by the schools, but also by your parents about doing something that's practical, right? Rather than what you actually want. Who here? I know I was one, yeah. That got told that whatever you wanted to do was not practical, so you better make another choice, 2 or 3 choices, but not that one, yeah, because your parents didn't agree that it was practical to do. Who did that happen to out there? Let me know, guys or girls. And I think at the core of it, a lot of us feared, or a lot of us fear, I mean, it may not resonate with you. You might have had an amazing upbringing where you know exactly what you want to do, but then probably you wouldn't be watching this video with me, yeah? A lot of it is fearing rejection, the loss of love, being judged, knowing we'll be judged or ridiculed for being you, the authentic you. So a lot of that is fear-based, yeah, but it gets right into your psyche, gets right into your chakras, gets right into your soul. The first step is recognizing it, where it's come from. How do you turn around that state of affairs to find your life purpose? So let's talk about that next. And I guess first up, I want to, kind of say to you, let go of the notion that it's just one thing. You're going to drive yourself crazy if you think it's just one thing. Why would you limit yourself to one thing? I do multiple things because it joyfully lights me up. There might be something else I want to do next, right? So don't ever think it's got to be one thing and you're searching for that one thing. It can be many things that light you up joyfully. There's no reason why you can't do them all. I mean, you've got to stay focused and finish. Like if you start things and never finish them, it's not going to get you anywhere, right? So you can have many projects about what joyfully lights you up. You can do a couple at a time. It doesn't have to be one thing. It might change, as I said, from decade to decade. There are things I did 2 decades ago I wouldn't even bother doing now, but at the time it joyfully lit me up, right? What I'm doing now joyfully lights me up. In 3 years it might be something different. In 5 years it might be something different. In 10 years it could be something different. Do you know what I mean? So don't ever limit yourself. It's whatever you're most passionate about at that time. There's no right or wrong in any of it. Yeah, and I think you'll find that you've got multiple facets to yourself and multiple talents in certain areas. So, and you might be able to, what I've found over time is that all of the things I've learned from one decade to another in different businesses are all coming together and bringing, like I use all of my web development, my marketing stuff, my ability to network and build communities and align it with my passion, to make my passion like on a global scale. That's where I'm heading, right? Don't discount the experiences as you go along. They're never a failure. They're, just another stepping stone to bringing you more experience, that are bringing you to the place that eventually you're going to be in an, it can be now. You might be ready now, but it's all just experience. It's always going to make you grow as a person, as an entrepreneur, as a business person. You might want to work in a traditional field in terms of the corporate world, in terms of a 9 to 5. Whatever it is that lights up your soul. None of it's wrong. All of it's about what fits right for you. Yeah. I guess one of the big things is you've got to release the judgment and criticism of others from your soul light, from your inner child. To do that, you need healing. Yeah. Healing at a core level. First of all, it's about recognizing what those imprints have been on you. and that takes a bit of self-exploration, some quiet time. It can be a deeply saddening experience. I can tell you that from a heart space, yeah, because you've realised what's held you back in life and who it stemmed from. It'll be your caregivers for sure. It might even be your siblings. It could be people that you've been in relationships with that put down what you wanted to do, that you felt constrained by. Mostly you'll find it's come from childhood of some form, right up to adulthood, yeah, of your dreams and your ideas being squashed. You might have witnessed ways of being between parents that have imprinted on you. But the great part of it is once you recognise it, you can go, okay, now I know where that stems from, why I feel like I do. Because often you don't know. It's totally subconscious. You've got no idea that that's where it stems from. Once you know where it stems from, you can release it and go, wow, I've totally changed my way of thinking around that, or the way I think about myself. It's often also about building up your sense of self-worth and self-love and knowing that you are just perfect the way you are, that you're acceptable the way you are, that your divine gifts and talents, your passions have value to you in this world. You don't have to worry if they have value to your friendships. It's also about, you've got to recognise within yourself that what holds value for you is super important, yeah? It's super important. You need to protect it and look after it and care for it. That means standing up to naysayers or getting them out of your circle for a while you follow your goals and dreams, putting healthy boundaries in place with people who are naysayers or criticise you, and know that it's perfectly fine for you to follow your goals and dreams. You don't need anyone else's permission except your own, yeah? But a lot of it is that you've got to release that judgment and criticism from the past, the feelings of guilt, the feelings of shame, and know that it's okay. That is a process. It's going to take a little time, yeah? So be kind and gentle with yourself. It can take quite a bit of time. So how do you know what those experiences are? Well, often it's called, what we do in transformational coaching is timeline regression, right? So you think back to the first moment when you felt that, and guaranteed it's going to probably be somewhere between the ages of 5 and 10, or maybe 5 and 12, that those experiences started filtering into your life. You know, what was said, who said it, how did you feel at the time, how did you behave, what did you do? Yeah, think about those things in response to it. What did you do? Because you learned a behaviour then, and usually it's to protect yourself in some way, but you probably shoved down stuff, or you stopped speaking about it, or do you know what I mean? Or you felt different about yourself in those instances that have stayed with you. So that's how you uncover where the karmic stuff comes from. Then it's about thinking about, which I kind of touched on, is starting to put boundaries in place with people. And who do you need to put boundaries in place with to protect your goals, your dreams, your ideas? It can be friends, it can be family, it can be partners, intimate relationships. It can be your children. Yeah, it might even be in the workplace. So yeah, think about that. And I guess you also got to think about, if you're feeling, sorry, I'm just wiggling around here. Think about also what's holding you stuck. So for those of you that are holding yourself stuck and you've been stuck for a while, as a transformational coach, I'll say to you, it's always self-imposed, that feeling of being stuck. You're holding yourself there. Yeah, and it's about being honest and truthful with yourself and knowing you're holding yourself stuck. It's usually from fear or doubt, a lack of self-confidence, a lack of self-worth. It's often recycling through things that you're saying to yourself over and over again. It can be self-criticism in your head, going, yeah, I'm not worth it, or the ideas and things that I want to do, there's probably no value in it, or can I make any money out of it? I'm not sure. Or you're worried about your financial stability. You know, you've got that security there. Stepping out of your comfort zone, can you do it? There's all these things you can say to yourself, recycling through them constantly to stop yourself going forward. Will I be accepted? Will I be ridiculed? Will I be judged? Will I be criticised? Yeah. A lot of self-criticism and judgment from it within often. So, yeah, be mindful of that. And there is ways to stop those thought processes. It's called mindfulness practices. Yeah, it's about switching around what you say to yourself, pulling yourself up when you're saying those things to yourself. Yeah. So how do you figure out what is your life path, life purpose? When you've unraveled all of that stuff, right? And that's a very important exercise. So you can always come back and watch this in the replay, right? And write notes if you want to. And so what are you most passionate about? Think about those things that you're most passionate about. Share them in a live chat while I'm in there, yeah? I'll high five you as we go through. And the next thing to think about is, okay, so often, like, I've done a lot of coaching with businesses, right? So we can be passionate about a lot of things, but you also have to be mindful if you want to create a life of abundance and wealth for yourself, or just financially be secure, following your passions, you have to be really honest and truthful with yourself and go, can I make any money out of it? Yeah. And because I've witnessed entrepreneur after entrepreneur who get nowhere because they're doing what they love, but they've not researched their market to find a solution, whether it be a product or a service that's going to meet people's needs, right? They've just done it because they love doing it, yeah? They've not stopped and done the steps before they've launched something to see whether or not there's going to be a market for it. And you can waste a whole lot of money doing that, and you can waste a whole lot of time doing that. So I'm not putting you off, right? But I'm saying there's also practical steps involved because you will create your abundance and your success. So out of all those passions, look at it and go, has anybody else done what I want to do before, right? And have they made a financial success out of it? Guaranteed someone's already done it. Might be loads of people that have already done it and they've made a success out of it. What are they doing? Yeah, what are they doing to make a success out of it? Often the only thing that you need to know, and this is really crucial, right, is that you want to create something from your natural talents and abilities that are an absolute burning desire that people want to have them, right? Burning desire. You know, if I take the example of my tarot channel, right, from a marketing perspective, right, I'm a marketer, marketing brain 101, all the time, switched on. I'm always looking for trends. Look for trends. What are you naturally good at? What's trending? What's going off the dial trending? Does it align with your passions? And it doesn't matter whether or not you feel confident in it, because you'll always get confident the more you do it, yeah? But I looked at that genre and I went, wow, there's some amazing stuff going on here. And yeah, you know, for me, I leveraged into it. So you want to look at what you're doing from not only a passionate side, but a practical side. Where is it within what lies within you that's a passion, that's absolutely people have a burning desire for? What can you create that solves a problem for them, that they so want to fix, that they're confused about, that they struggle with on a day-to-day basis? Yeah. So keep that in mind, and that requires a little bit of brainstorming and a bit of research. Yeah. Part of that is then creating something and experimenting with it and keep refining it until your money starts flowing in. Yeah. But that's probably getting more into the business side of stuff. But you kind of want to think about those practicalities. So it's okay to have a life path, life purpose, but you also want to make money out of it. And don't tell me that you don't, right? Because if you don't, then you haven't got a business brain and you shouldn't be watching, right? Because you need to live, right? You need to meet your material needs. And don't ever think that you shouldn't be charging what you're worth for your divine gifts and talents, because you should, yeah? Because what you're doing is you're creating value in someone else's life. And if you don't appreciate your value, other people aren't going to appreciate your value either. It's such an important thing to remember, because then people don't value what you're giving them either. If you're not charging enough for your services, or you're charging nothing, right? You're giving stuff away, yeah? That's not going to, they're just going to go, oh, I can get that for free. Really? Your time, your value, your gifts, your talents, they're worth something. You've got to believe in yourself and know that they're worth something. So there's all these practical things you've got to wrap around your life path, life purpose, yeah? In order to succeed at it. So you might have an idea, you've got some inkling about what your passions are. What do you need to do next? Often we have to, like for me, I had to study quite a few things, yeah, to get me on to the path I'm doing now, because I joyfully wanted to, yeah. It just kind of evolved for me. But, you know, in terms of anything else that I've done, I had to learn quite a lot to succeed in it, and didn't just happen straight away. Jewelry business, I had to learn how to create websites, how to market, how to build a customer base. Yeah, what is it you need to learn to turn your passion into a thriving idea or business or money coming in the door? You might need to do some study. Yeah, you might need to go back and study. You might want to change career paths, different field altogether. You might need some mentoring or some coaching, or, you know, have a look at business planning or your finances or your budgets. Yeah, how you're going to manage during that time. You might need to do some moonlighting. What does that mean? Well, you get a part-time job while you're also doing what you most love in life. Yeah, to support yourself through that. There might be some inner work you need to do, some inner and outer work on yourself to boost yourself up to the place where you want to be, so you're totally confident, totally accepting of yourself, your life, talents, your gifts, your desires, your ideas, your dreams, your goals, and know within your heart that it's the only path you want to follow, and you're going to stick to it. Yeah, because you love it so much and it's what you want to do. But you're also going to have faith and trust and ability in yourself when everything's not going your way, right? When the money's not coming in yet, if you get off that path before it's too soon, you're never going to reach it, right? There's all these things you've got to think about. And I'm not trying to make it hard for you. I'm trying to make it realistic. You know, what is it about yourself in terms of self-healing, in terms of your self-worth, in terms of your emotions that you need to balance and ground with yourself or heal, so that you're strong, empowered to follow what you're most passionate about. Yeah. And each step in that journey is going to bring you closer and closer to knowing with absolute clarity what your life path, life purpose is. One of the other things to think about is, and pop in the comments box, like chat to me in the live chat and tell me what you think of studying. If you want to do a career path, career change, totally. What are you doing now? What do you want to change to? Yeah. Yeah. What have you thought about in terms of what are your next steps? Yeah. So yeah, and I guess the other thing is to be really mindful of, and this can, you know, it can be one of the hardest things to manage in terms of your ideas and your goals and the dreams and your desires, right? Is the naysayers. Oh, and there'll be many. They'll come from unexpected sources of people that you think are supposed to be so supportive of you. I know for me, it came from one of my closest friends, a couple of my closest friends, yeah? And there would just be little digs, and then there'd be concern, you know, concern about my welfare or my finances, or confusion about what I was doing. Well, it didn't really matter what I was doing. I know for me, I've always had somebody that's had great big visions, yeah? A lot of people don't understand them whatsoever because they're too far out there. Do you know what I mean? But I always bring them to practical steps and get them. And then once I've created them, people will go, cool, like, how did you do that? Well, hello, it was in here all the way along. You just didn't believe in me. Yeah, but you're pretty good at criticizing and naysaying. You're going to get a lot of that. So this is where the boundaries come in, the protection comes in. Sometimes you have to keep those ideas and, you know, when you're just starting them, to yourself. That's not about hiding them. It's about protecting them until you're ready to put them out there. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes, yeah. And I had quite a few girlfriends that after, like, socially, quite a few times on my journey before I got a lot of traction with my business and my ideas, that were naysayers, and it was so hard to take. You know, I can reveal a conversation. I mean, my family was some of the worst, but they've always been like that, right? I had a conversation with my mother not long ago, like literally a month ago, maybe a little bit longer. And she went, so you've been unemployed for quite some time now. I went, excuse me? I've been running my own business for the past 2 years. That's what I get in my world, yeah. I can remember getting that from my mother-in-law when I was married and I was running my marketing business, and she said exactly the same. So how are things going for you? I know that you haven't got a job right now. Running my own business. Yeah, coaching small businesses. That's what, you know, you're going to get that all the time. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it'll come. It comes. It comes with doing things people are not comfortable with because they haven't got the balls to do it themselves. If I can be so blunt, right? They have not got the balls to do it themselves, so they project all their fears, their anxiety, their worries onto you. That's their healing journey. It's not yours to take on board. Whether it's your partners, whether it's your friendships, if you're somebody older, it can be your older children giving you the, whatever. And don't ever think it's about age. You can do whatever you want at any age, right? You're never too old. You're never too young. You can do it at any time. So, yeah, you've got to be so not only protective, like for me, sometimes I'll tell you what really helps is that in terms of your emotional balance, sometimes you've just got to go and vent out in nature. I've got to say, come ground yourself out. I often will wear a protective crystal or something because I'm empathic. I often feel stuff in my heart chakra. Often it's about going in prepared into some of these situations. You can close your chakras down too before you walk into anything, particularly family situations where you think, oh, people are going to have a go at me for being myself. Hello. Shut your chakras down first. How do you do that? So your chakras, right? So you've got your crown chakra, you've got your third eye chakra, you've got your throat chakra, your heart chakra. Just below your ribs, you've got your solar plexus, which is your chi energy. In your pelvic area, just around your belly button, below your belly button, you've got your sacral chakras where you hold all your emotions, your sexuality. And then sort of at the base of the pelvis, which is your groin, your private parts, yeah, right at the base of that's your root chakra, which is all your material needs, your security, that kind of stuff, right? So they're all circular. So all you need to do before you walk into anything challenging is visualize those chakras, which are circular, is shutting them down. And you can just do it instantly, like within seconds, and just go, right? So you know that they're shut. Yeah, they're shut to protect yourself. Then walk into the room. Yeah, just remember that. We learn to do that in Reiki, how to protect ourselves. But yeah. In terms of crystals, this is the friendship one, so and harmony. But one of the ones that's really great is selenite, a selenite pendant. You can look that up, or you can carry a crystal with you in your bag or your pocket or whatever. Tourmaline, black tourmaline, hematite's great for protection. Yeah, but there are going to be instances where you're going to need to protect yourself. Your ideas, your goals, your projects, your dreams. Yeah, until people get used to it. When they see success, people are all on board. Oh, they're all on board. Yeah, yeah. Want to know how you did it. Okay, so in terms of supportive networks and friendships, it's about surrounding yourself with those people that are positive, that do support you. Self-regulation on yourself in terms of watching your emotions, your energy levels, knowing when you're feeling out of balance and go balance yourself and ground yourself. Because you always co-create your existence in a day-to-day state, yeah. Internal drive, motivation. I've got to say to you, when you're passionate about something, I never need motivational drive. I'm always switched on unless I'm really tired or I've gone through something challenging, yeah. And for me, it's quite hard to knock me off my perch these days because I'm so balanced and grounded and highly positive, you know. Recently, I lost my dog, and that really knocked me, yeah. And yeah, I was just overarchingly just tired within myself, you know, I've been just hard at it. So we all go through those times. Sometimes it's just about giving yourself a breathing space and knowing when to take some time out for self. So it's about being very mindful in terms of when you're trying to create something amazing, is to watch your energy levels, watch your emotions, because you can let them run rampant and give up on what you're trying to do because you feel it's too hard, yeah? You don't want to do that. Fear can be one of the biggest things in the pit of your belly, yeah? One of the things I've learned to do, and this is about being present, about dropping the materialism, because when you put so much pressure on yourself to follow your passions, but you want it to create a living for you, you might want to buy a home, a new car, whatever it is for you, fill your bank account up, right? You put enormous amount of pressure on yourself. So often it's about just being comfortable and relaxed with what you've got already as you work through this process of building something amazing out of your passions, your divine gifts and talents. Being present, going with the flow, taking one step at a time, and know it's consistently leading you forward towards the future that you want to create for yourself. And whilst we can be future paced, we're living in the now, yeah. And I have to say, for me, in terms of what I'm doing, which is totally out there, right, is it's taken an enormous amount of faith and trust, an enormous amount of letting go of outcomes, an enormous amount of faith and trust in the universe that things are going to work out. I recently looked back at where I started at the beginning of the year and to where I am now, right? And it feels like it's flown by, absolutely flown by. But I can remember right at the beginning of the year, particularly even with my YouTube channel, is I got super excited. My son and I've got two sons, one's 25, one's 27, yeah. And we got super excited. The youngest and I were at that stage. He was still at home. I've since moved since then. We both moved, yeah. And like I think the first day I got 1,000 views. I'm like, oh my God, I just got 1,000 views on my videos. Well, the next day it was 2,500, and it kept going up and up and up. I think I'm close to 800,000 views in a year. Yeah, a ridiculous amount of viewing time. I think the last time I looked, it was 6.5 million minutes of viewing time. I know it's gone way up since then, right? Which is a ridiculous amount of hours, yeah. But I look back on it, and from humble beginnings, do you know what I mean? And just consistently applying steps and progress and hard work. There's hard work involved in following your passions. And there's a timeline, yeah. There's absolutely a timeline to get established. And it's not about things happening instantly. If you think things are going to happen instantly, it's unrealistic. You've got to have the time to build the foundations around your life path, life purpose, yeah. But those foundations, once you build them, are going to be super strong, yeah, absolutely. But every step of the way, you've got to have this intense faith in not only in yourself, but in the universe to provide, to know that you're going to be okay, that your ideas have merit and value in this world, and you'll start seeing signs of it everywhere. Yeah, and it's also about taking that pat on the back when you get the amazing feedback or the positive feedback, to know you're on the right path, to know that you're doing a great job. And I'm hoping that I'm inspiring you and motivating you, but I also kind of want to give you a realistic point of view to it as well. Yeah, and I guess the other thing is to not give up. The ones that succeed don't give up. They might not be the best at it. Don't ever expect yourself to be perfect. God, that's too hard to maintain. You just need to start. Don't ever think that you've got to be as good as somebody else to start. They didn't start out that way. You're going to gain your confidence as you go along. You get better at it every step of the way. And then you'll get somebody turn around to you and going, wow, how did you do that? I so admire what you're doing. And you know what? You started like them way back there, right at the same point. And you'll have a lot of wisdom and experience and things to share with them, yeah, and hopefully inspire and motivate them. So yeah, so I'd love to hear your feedback. If you've got any questions that I haven't answered off, let me know. And I hope that you found, some value in here, and it's opened your eyes up to, how do you find your life path, life purpose? What are some of the obstacles along the way? Often the only thing ever holding you back is not only, and I don't think I ever want you to, even as a transformational coach, as an energy healer, is never, ever blame yourself for the karmic stuff, yeah? Sometimes you have to do a lot of forgiving for the people that have imprinted that stuff on you, absolutely, but you'll come out of it so much better, yeah. And I've been through that process, absolutely. But no, don't ever beat yourself up about it. It's about learning from it, recognizing it, and allowing it to let it go out of your system, out of your cells, out of your body, out of your soul, yeah, out of your inner child, so you can come back to you, recognizing that you've got amazing gifts and talents within you. We all do. Don't ever think that you don't. And if you're going, I don't know what they are, that's okay. You're right where you're meant to be. You're questioning life. Everything will be revealed to you the more that you explore yourself, the more that you explore what you're passionate about, what makes you joyful, the more that you wonder about stuff and ponder about stuff, the more answers are going to come to you. It's a process, yeah? Be kind and gentle with yourself. You don't need to do it immediately, right? It's about figuring out what holds value for you. Can you make any money out of it? What do you need to do to get you onto your path? What extra things do you need to learn or set up or write a budget or a plan, actionable steps? Or you might just need to know, what is my next step? That's it. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. All right, from my heart to yours, much love, much light. Namaste.